Hey humans, how you all doing? It's me, your favorite friendly secular humanist minister, George 3 here, and today we're going to look at another video. Well, it's the same video I reviewed last time. Well, not reviewed, but reacted to last time. It's Greek mythology Greek mythology ASMR sleep stories, and I hope you guys can enjoy the video along with me. I hope everyone's having a good day. Oh, I forgot to turn on my lights. My other light. My original lights over here, but okay, there we go. Hi, welcome. Let us begin on our ASMR Greek mythology stories with the 12 Labels of Hercules, the second labor, since the first one we already did prior. And by the way, before I begin the video playing, I just want to let you know I got another copyright strike on a YouTube video I did. Another Let's Watch video. The first one was of the Shark Tank video I uploaded the other day, which I just deleted because it was blocked worldwide. Nobody could see it. But today, I got one from the video I uploaded a few days ago of me watching the Stockholms from Cyanide and Happiness. Now, I haven't exactly addressed the issue. I just noticed that on my thing that I got the copyright strike. So, I'm after this, when my laptop's actually working, because I can't do anything about it on mobile, I'll try to figure out what the hell happened. But until then, let's enjoy the video. If you're watching me on Twitch right now, follow me. And if you unfollow me on Twitch, my Twitch is twitch.tv/GEORG_3. You can find a link in the description box below for YouTube. Let's go.
And antique culture. So for now, let's return to Hercules and his second labor.
Strong guy.
The second labor was a trap prepared by Hydra, who kept tormenting Hercules. She had raised a terrifying monster
then again, most
just
of the
to slay Hercules, the Hydra.
The Hydra, I remember
and
that.
She inspired Eurystheus to...
I'm sorry to pause this, but the entire time I'm thinking of the movie Hercules from Disney. Not an accurate depiction at all, but still a fun and enjoyable and very memorable one. I might actually watch that one day. Who knows? Leave a comment down below and let me know your thoughts if I should or not.
Sorry, Hercules killed it. The Hydra was a water monster, looking like a giant snake with multiple heads. Its lair was a lake, the Lake of Lerna, which was known to be one of the entrances to the underworld.
Hades, the underworld, not to be confused with Hades, the god of the underworld.
Because its breath was poisonous.
Yes,
and it was so toxic that just the scent of the creature was deadly.
You cut one head off, 3 more will grow.
It had multiple heads, and even more terrifying was the creature's ability to regrow them when a head was chopped. 2 new heads.
I'm sorry, but I'm just gonna give imagery of somebody like using a guillotine on somebody, and then like as soon as their head is cut off, 3 more heads grow. You're like, what the fuck? Yeah, I know. We're all surprised it happened too. Ugh. Would that be a blessing or a curse if you got your head cut off and then 3 more of your heads grew back? Would you be having conscious control of all 3, or would it be like separate personalities based on the main personality? Like what?
Placed it so that the creature became more and more powerful as it fought. Only oblivious warriors would have dared attack such an invincible monster.
I really like the setup he has going here,
the swamp
and I love the gemstones he has.
The creature's lair. Hercules covered his face with a cloth, so that the poisonous fumes could not affect him.
Good job, Hercules.
The Hydra's lair was a spring, a cave where it stayed most of the time, and emerged from time to time to terrorize the villages around.
That's true.
Hercules shot flaming arrows at the cave to force the monster to appear. And when it did, he confronted it.
I know I keep pausing the video a lot, but I just have to say, any of you see that new Hercules movie starring Dwayne The Rock Johnson? I believe it was. It, by new, I mean it was like a few years ago. But if you have, let me know and tell me your thoughts about it because I've never seen it. I'm assuming it's boring and cliche, like the movie prior that was made like what a year before about Hercules and stuff that nobody really remembers. The only reason why I don't even remember the whole Hercules and being played by Dwayne The Rock Johnson. I don't even know why I remember that. You know what? Let's just continue watching.
The fight began, and Heracles repeatedly chopped heads, but more kept replacing them due to the monster's evil regeneration powers.
What if he chopped his dick off?
The fight looked hopeless.
Would 3 more dicks grow?
Short of solutions, Heracles had to back down,
like that.
and the
cool
Hydra returned to its lair.
That would be a cool superpower. You have the ability to regrow your limbs if they get cut off. Yep, and 3 more grow back. Ah, cool. Show me. Sure thing. Unzips pants. What are you doing? Showing you my superpower. I thought you said any limb. Yeah, any limb. But I mostly use it for my dick though. And you just see it's like 1,000 dicks there. Don't mind me. I'm stupid.
Realizing that he couldn't beat the Hydra in this way, Heracles called for help on his nephew, the son of his twin. His nephew,
right. In most versions, Hydras have twin.
Was astute and inspired by Athena. He had the idea of cauterizing the open stumps immediately after Heracles would chop the heads, which would prevent new heads from regrowing.
If anyone's wondering what this is right here, I have a Inkbox tattoo kit, which you can find in the description box below. And I was just messing around with some designs like this. I made like a week ago. It's supposed to be a bird, but it's fading. I was trying to do a, you know how in the Squid Games, they were doing the cookie thing and there was an umbrella? I was trying to do the umbrella, but I kind of gave up. So I know why did I give up? Well, for one thing, the Inkbox kit thing, it kept like stalling, and I'm lazy.
They returned together to the Hydra's lair and confronted it again.
Fuck up that Hydra.
But Hera was watching.
Fight.
And seeing that Heracles was now winning the struggle, she sent a giant crab to the scene to distract him. But Heracles crushed it, and now the Hydra had only one head left. Its immortal head that would live on, even separated from the body.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Athena gave Heracles a magical golden sword, and with it he could cut off the last head that kept the creature alive. Then he placed the head under a rock and dipped his arrows in the Hydra's poisonous blood. His second task was complete, and again he came out of it stronger. He returned to Eurystheus for his next assignment.
Hercules.
The Hydra, like the lion before, was a chthonic creature. Maybe you've heard this term associated with the world of H.P. Lovecraft, the author of horror novels.
And a racist,
the
he named
word
his cat Nigger Cat.
Means subterranean. There were several words in Greek for earth. One that is more famous is Gaia, which refers to the surface of the land. Pton is another word for earth, but it means in or under the earth. So a chthonic or Ptonian creature came from under the earth or from the underworld, Hercules too. Deities living under the earth, such as Hades, the god of the dead and the king of the underworld, or Persephone, the daughter of the goddess of fertility and agriculture, Demeter, who had been captured.
Oh, okay, I paused it when I wanted to explain her backstory, but he's about to.
By Hades.
Yep.
These chthonic gods were.
It wasn't just because of Hades. Hades asked Zeus, and Zeus approved, and he took her, kidnapped her. Well, technically speaking, kidnapped her, but Hades, like I said before, is actually one of the few Greek gods I have any respect for. Not that they are real or anything. Like I respect Superman, even though he's not real. Okay, sort of like that. Now, not in the same thing, because I have Superman in a high regard because he's Superman. Like, what the fuck? Superman. Saves the day.
Worshipped and offered sacrifices differently from Olympian gods, the pantheon of gods governed by Zeus, who lived on Mount Olympus.
I was actually watching Record of Ragnarok earlier.
The origin of this distinction between chthonic and Olympian gods and the way their cults performed their rituals is not well known. Some archaeologists have supposed that chthonic deities could be remnants of the religion that existed in Greece many centuries before the emergence of what we call Greek civilization.
Well, that is true.
It is believed that the Proto-Greeks arrived in the south of the Balkans in the 3rd millennium BC. They settled in Greece, but little is known of their predecessors. The populations probably mixed, and we don't know much either about their reciprocal contributions to the emergence of Greek culture. But maybe, to an extent, the myth and the religion in ancient Greece were influenced by the pre-Greek or pre-Hellenic cultures.
Yeah, I like this guy's
but
voice.
Back to the labels, because I still have many to tell you. Heracles had triumphed once again against a terrifying creature. Eurystheus was inspired by Hera, and like her, wanted Heracles to fail. So, as monsters couldn't get them rid of him, they came up with a new task, one that would not involve killing a beast, and that Heracles would really be unable to complete.
Let's hear this
In
task.
Greece lived yet another fantastical creature, a hind, a female deer, that was sacred to Artemis, the goddess of the hunt and animals. The hind had golden antlers and hooves of bronze. It was a shy and harmless animal, but it was so fast that it was said it could overrun an arrow in flight.
Damn.
Eurystheus,
That's pretty fast.
speaking for Hera, asked Heracles to capture the hind, and that looked like a perfect plan. The hind was too fast to be captured, and Heracles' strength would be useless. But even if he did capture it, this would anger Artemis for the desecration of her animal.
Yep, that's true.
And she would punish him for the offense, probably by death. It seemed the plan couldn't fail, whatever Heracles would do. So, as his third labor, Heracles was sent to capture the hind.
You got this, Heracles.
He had begun the search when, one day, as he woke up, he saw the shine of the hind's antlers and started to chase it on foot.
Uh-oh.
Every time he would come close to it, the animal accelerated and easily escaped. Days passed, weeks passed. Heracles kept chasing the kind all over Greece and even beyond to the land of the Hyperboreans, north of Greece. Months passed, and finally, one day, his perseverance was rewarded. The hind had a second of distraction, and he took advantage of it. The animal was caught. Heracles returned with the hind, but on his way back, he encountered Artemis and her brother Apollo.
Oh, even Apollo. Shit.
He begged the goddess for forgiveness, explaining that catching the hind was part of his penance and that he hadn't chosen this labor. He promised to return it as soon as the animal would have been presented to Eurystheus. Artemis was not as bitter and vindictive as Hera, so she understood and forgave him.
Oh, good job,
Eurystheus and Hera's plan had failed again. When Heracles presented the hind to the king, he was told the creature would become part of his collection of exotic animals. But Heracles could not let this happen, because he had promised to return it.
Damn straight, you better not
so
give it
he
to him.
accepted to hand it over on the condition that Eurystheus himself came out and take it from him. The king came out, but it was a trick. Heracles freed the hind, and it sprinted back to its mistress, leaving no chance to the king to catch it.
Mistress? So the
Heracles blamed Eurystheus for not being quick enough, and he could get away with the tricky situation he was in. There are different versions of this labor. In other versions, Heracles captures the hind when it is asleep, or it traps it with a net. Because as the rest of mythology, these tales were told and rewritten by multiple authors, Greek initially, and then Roman.
And a few others.
Rome adopted a great deal of Greek myth and gods, together with many other aspects of Greek culture and science.
Oh yeah, they were practically
The 12 labors of Heracles were initially 10, or maybe even less. But as new chapters were added to the story, it changed. Eurystheus would have demanded 10 labors. This is a point of the story that was solid, well established. But as new chapters, new labors were added, authors needed to reconcile the 10 labors storyline with a tradition that now contained 12 different tasks performed by Heracles. So later, after the classical period of Greek culture, a little variation was added. 2 labors were disqualified by Eurystheus.
2 labors?
The slaying of the Hydra, because Heracles had received help from his nephew, and another one I'll tell you about later. This is why Heracles had to go through 12 labors to finish the list of 10 Eurystheus and Hera gave him.
Interesting. I'm learning so much.
There are also episodes involving centaurs, half-men, half-horse creatures, and the wisest of all of them, Chiron, who had received the gift of immortality, or Prometheus, the titan credited with stealing fire from the gods to give it to man. These characters appear in different labors depending on the versions, but they're going to be featured in our next labor. because after 3 labors, Heracles was not even halfway into his penance,
Nope, not even
and he was
halfway.
now ready for his 4th assignment.
4th.
A fast-running creature had been no match to Heracles, so this time Eurystheus and Hera returned to a dangerous animal. In the primitive islands of Arcadia, a place where no humans in their right mind would go, because it was populated by wild creatures that ate human flesh, lived a monstrous boar, a giant wild pig. The animal stayed on Mount Erymanthos, but sometimes it entered in a rage that made it run around the country and lay waste to the farmers' fields. The wild boar was dangerous, and so were the inhabitants of Mount Erymanthos. A large group of centaurs lived there, with their chief, Chiron.
Oh, I've heard of Chiron.
Heracles may be able to defeat one monster at a time, but what could he do against dozens of monsters? So they instructed the hero to capture the boar. What the conspirators ignored was that Heracles was friends with Pholus, a kind and hospitable centaur. He visited his old friend on his way to Mount Erymanthos. They soon went to Pholus' cavern to eat, and Heracles asked for wine. Pholus had a jar of wine, an ancient gift from Dionysus, the god of winemaking and madness. Pholus agreed to open the jar, but that was foolish of him. The smell of wine attracted the other centaurs. They started to drink and became mad. Centaurs were only half human. They were naive and brutal creatures. So they attacked Heracles. Our hero had to shoot at them with his poisonous arrows, which made them retreat to Chiron's cave. Chiron was immortal, and
I'm sorry, but I gotta pause, because when I think Chiron's cave, I think of modern day conceptual idea of what a Chiron is inside of like a cave, and it just they're all huddled up, like complaining about wanting to manager or something.
wisest among centaurs. So once the creatures had been scattered, Heracles visited him to gain advice on how to catch the boar, because the animal was at the same time very fast and very strong.
Very fast.
Chiron told him to drive it into thick snow. The snow would slow down the boar and exhaust it. And so it was done.
I really like the background.
Heracles caught the boar, bound it, and returned to Eurystheus. The king was so frightened of the monster that he hid inside a half-buried jar used for storage and begged Heracles to get rid of the beast, which the hero did. It seemed that killing or capturing creatures was definitely not the kind of task that would make Heracles fail. So 3 days later, when he had recovered his temper, Eurystheus gave him a new labor. He was sent to clean the stables of King Augeas. Augeas owned the largest stables in Greece, and they housed the single greatest number of cattle in the country. The livestock was also immortal and produced an enormous quantity of manure. The task of cleaning these stables looked so discouraging that they had never been cleaned. It was even impossible to enter the stables, and they were known all around Greece for being the filthiest place in the entire country.
Damn, the filthiest place in the
Heracles
entire
had
country?
gained glory capturing or slaying monsters, and Eurystheus understood it had been a mistake to give him the opportunity to shine. Cleaning stables would not only be impossible, it was humiliating. As Heracles left to King Augeas' palace,
but hey, cleaning is a meditative
rubbed his hands with glee, already imagining how the glorious hero would be ridiculed.
Oh no, my face.
Heracles visited Augeas and offered to clean his stables. The king accepted, and even offered Heracles 1/10 of his cattle if the job was finished in one day.
That's a lot of cattle.
He didn't think for a second this was possible. But all had underestimated Heracles' ingenuity. Instead of trying to clean the stables directly, he used nature to do the work.
Nature? But isn't everything nature?
There were 2 rivers passing nearby.
The answer is yes.
Heracles dug ditches and diverted them to make them pass through the stables. So, in just a few hours, the waters had taken away everything and left the stables as new. When...
I'm gonna have to pause you. Really? It has been cleaned in extraordinary, in like forever? And Hercules is just gonna build a dam, let water pass through it, and boom, it's clean? Sounds a little sus. Sounds a little weird. Like, no cleaning supplies, like, you know, I'm just thinking about it from a 21st century mindset with logic, reasoning, and knowing what soap is.
He returned to Augeas to claim his prize, 1/10 of the cattle.
1/10?
The king reacted angrily. He refused to honor the agreement, arguing that the rivers, not Heracles, had done the work. The king's sons supported their father, except one, Phyleus. Heracles killed them all and gave the kingdom to Phyleus. He then returned to Eurystheus, but like Augeas, Eurystheus refused to discount the success of this labor because the waters had done the work, and additionally because Heracles had been paid for his work. With his labor of slaying the Hydra also disqualified because he had received help, Heracles had completed 5 tasks, but only 3 were finally accepted, leaving 7 more. The main theme in this 5th labor is the use of ingenuity, intelligence to achieve what otherwise looked impossible. This is a recurring theme in Greek mythology.
It is.
And so is the idea that nature can be put to work by man to demultiply his output and his well-being. This conception of the world, that nature is a force that can be and should be tamed by the intellect and technique, is a specificity of Greek culture. Technically, it is something all civilizations did, of course. Agriculture, tools, or the use of fire are ways to use nature to our advantage. But the Greeks theorized and praised it. This conception was passed to other antique cultures, especially to the Romans, and it became a trait of Western culture, for better or worse. More than 25 centuries ago, the seeds of this relation between mankind and nature were already present in this myth, not only the labors of Hercules, the myth of Prometheus about the transmission of fire stolen from the gods to man also carries the belief that through the acquisition of knowledge and technique, men elevate themselves. They gain power to act on nature and come closer to the status of gods through this elevation. This ingenuity would come handy again in the sixth labor. For his sixth labor, Eurystheus sent Heracles slay a swarm of birds dwelling in a swamp in a region.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to end the video right there. I'll be posting again soon, probably later on. Thank you for watching. I'll be posting again the next part of this long video of Greek mythology sleep stories of his next labor. Whenever I get a chance. Maybe tomorrow night, maybe in the morning, maybe in 3 weeks. Who knows? Stay tuned. Leave a comment down below if you're watching this on YouTube. Leave a like as well. Subscribe to me if you haven't already subscribed. Follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/GEORG3. Correction, twitch.tv/GEORG_3. Have a great day. Bye, humans.